Alright, so this is just a brief video on composite perimeter. Most of you did really well on the composite area questions when you watched the video, so I thought I'd put together this video to help you through composite perimeter. Alright, so one of the questions that's very common when working with composite perimeter are these L-shaped figures. Why are they called L-shaped? Well, this is an L. I know it's kind of upside down, or it's kind of, you need to spin it around to see the L. Here's an obvious L, and here's a backwards L. So we're working with these L shapes. Okay. Now when you're doing composite perimeter, remember, all you're doing is you're adding up all of the sides of the shape. That's all you have to do when doing composite perimeter. So I got rid of that other one just because I want to have space to work on this question here we're going to do. So remember, the first thing you have to do when figuring out composite perimeter is find out the lengths of any missing lines you need to know. Remember, composite perimeter, you're just getting all of the outside lines that you can see me demarcating here. Okay, so which ones don't I know? Well, I don't know this one here, and I also don't know this one over here. So I'm going to designate them for now with variables x, and this one with y. Okay? How can I find out x? In order to find out x, I need to look to the opposite side. The opposite side of this one here is this side over here, and I'll draw a little line so you can see that. You can see this here is our opposite side. And the length of that line is 8 meters. That means from here to here is also 8 meters. This line is 8 meters. Now, which part of this line do I already know? Well, it tells me that this section here is 2 meters. So that means from here to here is 2 meters. And in order to find x, I have to find this remaining space. So to find that space, what am I going to do? I'm going to do 8 minus 2, and that's going to give me this space here. So I'm going to do that. 8 minus 2. 8 minus 2 gives me 6 meters. So this space here, or this line here, is 6 meters. 6 meters. Now, how about finding y? Same strategy. I look to the opposite side of the line I am trying to find. The opposite side of the line I'm trying to find here is 9 meters long. So that means that from here to here is 9 meters long. Now, what information do I know about this line that I just drew? I know that this line here is 9 meters, so I should write that in. And I also know that from here to here is 3 meters. So that if I look down here, from here to here is 3 meters. So I can write that in. 3 meters. So how can I find then this section here? I can find it by doing 9 minus 3, and it will tell us the length of this side. So let's write that out. We get 9 minus 3, and we get 6 meters. So I know this is also 6 meters. Great. Now I know all the lengths of these lines. All I have to do is add them up. So then I write my formula, or not formula, sorry, then I write P equals, no formulas for composite perimeter, remember that, perimeter, and I'm going to start, I always like to start from the middle one, and I go clockwise, so that I can make sure I do not miss any of the numbers. So then I'm going to do P equals 9 plus 6 plus 3 plus 2 plus 6 plus 8. Alright, and I can just double check that I get all of the numbers. I got 9, I got 6, I got 3, I got 2, I got 6, I got 8. So I've got all the numbers that I need. Then I'm going to add those up. 9 plus 6 is 15, plus 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20, plus 6 is 26, plus 8 is 34. My answer is 34 meters. And that's how I do this kind of question. So I'm going to do one more question for you just like this so you can see it once again. So remember, I'm trying to find the lengths on the outside of the shape. So you can see me going over it right now. All these lines, I'm trying to find the perimeter. How much does this line equal to? To do that, I'm going to have to add all the sides. In order to add all the sides, I need to know what all the sides are. So, for example, I need to know what this side is right here. And how can I do that? Well, I showed you before in the last question. This side is going to be equal to this side over here. And this side is 9 millimeters, so this line is also 9 millimeters. From here to here is 7 millimeters. Therefore, this section here is going to be 9 minus 7. It gives us 2 millimeters. So I know that this one here is 2 millimeters. Alright? Now I also need to know what this one is up here. So same thing, I go to look at the opposite side. The opposite side is 7 millimeters. So that means up here I can draw a line that I know is 7 millimeters long from here to here. And I know that from here to here is 5. So this is total 7 millimeters. This part is 5 millimeters. So to find that there, I'm going to do 7 minus 5, and that gives me 2 millimeters. So I know that this here is 2 millimeters. So now I know all my sides because I found that this side here is 2 millimeters and this one's 2 millimeters. So I have 2, 9, 7, 2, 5, and 7. So I write my equation. P equals, going clockwise from the closest to the center I can get. That first one is 2. I'm doing this one here first. 2. So then I get 2 plus 9 plus 7 plus 2 plus 5 plus 7. I can double check that I got them all. I got 2. I got 9, 7, 2, 5, and 7. I got them all. Now I can add them up. 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 7 is 18, 20, 25, 32 millimeters. Now, you of course don't have to do it mentally. You can use your calculator to make sure you get the right answer. So what if you get a question like this? You should recognize this. We've done this kind of question for area, but what if you're trying to find the perimeter of this shape? Well, always start either mentally or with your finger going around the shape. Right? When you go around the shape, then you know what you're trying to calculate. That's the perimeter there. The perimeter is not this line here. That is not part of the perimeter. So make sure you do not calculate it. Okay? However, that line will be relevant to us because we need it in order to determine the radius, or you could determine the diameter of the circle. So, in order to do this question, start by figuring out the circumference of the semicircle. Now, you'll recall that the formula for the circumference of a semicircle can either be C equals pi d or C equals 2 pi r. Well, in this case, it's given you the diameter. If you recall from the previous video, that the diameter is given to us right here. So we know the diameter is 20. So it's easier to use the formula pi d. However, we have to keep in mind that we're working with a semicircle here. And its semicircle is half of a circle. How do we find half of anything? We divide by 2. So we're going to do that first. I'm just going to get rid of some of that writing. We're going to do C equals pi d divided by 2. Okay, and we know from here, that the diameter is 20 millimeters. So I can substitute in and I get pi 20 divided by 2. So now I got to work out pi times 20, and I get 62.8318, and I'm just going to keep 4 digits after the decimal so that when I round, I can round later to the nearest tenth, divided by 2. Then I do the division, divide by 2. I get 31.4159. So that is the circumference of the semicircle. That tells me this line here. Alright, now that I have that, I can do my perimeter equation. So I get P equals, let's start with the circumference that I just calculated, 31.4159, and plus 30 for this side here, plus 20 for this side here, plus another 30 for this side right here. So plus 30. And then I just add all those up. And I get 111.4159. Rounding to the nearest tenth, I get 111.4 millimeters. And that's how you do that kind of question. So some important notes to have gotten from this video. Do not use formulas when doing composite perimeter except when calculating circular shapes. So you can see when we did the semicircle, we used the formula for the semicircle divided by 2. We can use that shape formula. We shouldn't be using P equals 2 times length plus width for the rectangle, because if you do that, you'll end up calculating an interior shape. You do not use formulas except when calculating circular shapes. Then the other thing is you want to remember is to determine the lengths of missing sides using the opposite side. Go back in the video to see how to do that if you're not sure. And then basically all you're doing when you're doing composite perimeters, you're adding up all the sides in one perimeter equation to get your answer. Try calculating the perimeter of this shape. Try calculating the perimeter of this shape.